Amazon went through 2 rounds of major layoffs. I hope it's me! Imagine there is a job where the pay is decent, the hours are flexible, no commute, no fixed office. You can work whenever you want, wherever you want, as long as you get the work done. I used to have that job. I spent 6 years at Amazon, and I have worked with my laptop in coffee shops, by rivers, in the mountains, in different cities. Just me, my work, and whatever view I feel like looking at that day. Sounds pretty good, right? Well, 2 weeks ago, I decided to give it all up. It wasn't an easy decision. I think anyone would struggle to walk away from that kind of comfort. And honestly, I'm still not entirely sure I made the right call. So I thought I'd talk to you about it. Maybe some one of you have felt something similar. Maybe through this conversation, I can find a clearer answer in my own heart and feel a little more certain about what I have chosen. So, let me tell you a bit about what I actually did. I was a process expert in European supplier operations. My job was to design and continuously refine operational processes to make sure suppliers were being supported efficiently. But here is the thing about working at a company like Amazon. A company of that scale, the system is already so mature, so well built, that no single person really feels essential. Sometimes you start to wonder, even if my entire department disappeared overnight, would it actually make a difference to how the company runs? And that realization changed something for me. Because I always hope my work could serve more people, maybe even make a difference beyond just one company, one metric, one quarterly target. You might think that's naive, but that's how I felt. The first few years were different. When I first joined, I felt like I was learning at an incredible speed every single day, learning the systems, understanding the structures. But in the last couple of years, I stopped feeling time passed. A whole year would go by, and I couldn't point out anything new or different I had done. I was thinking the same thoughts, talking to the same people, saying the same things I'd said a year or two before. That terrified me. I feel like time had frozen, like I'd stopped growing. And that anxiety, it reached a peak when AI started changing everything. AI is evolving at a pace that's hard to even comprehend. The world is clearly moving somewhere new. And what was I doing? Same people across the screen, same meetings, same conversations, same KPIs. I started to feel this strange disconnection, like the era was moving forward and I was being left behind, sealed in some kind of time capsule where nothing ever progressed. The world outside was accelerating and I was standing still. There was another thing that pushed me closer to this decision. When I came back from maternity leave last year, I realized that my job had essentially vanished. My title was still there. My salary hadn't changed. But the substance, the actual work, was gone. The processes I'd built just need maintenance now, and someone whose role was to create. There was very little left for me to do. So a lot of time I was just pretending to work, finding things to do for the sake of looking busy. Now I'm someone who actually enjoys taking it easy, but I don't want to live a meaningless life. I don't want to meaningless work. I want work-life balance, yes, but during the hours I'm working, I want every minute to count. I want to be fully engaged. I know from the outside it sounds ideal, getting paid to do nothing. But when you're actually in that position and you are someone who wants to do something, someone who wants their work to matter, it's painful. It really is. You have probably heard that Amazon went through 2 rounds of major layoffs. When I heard the news, there was a voice inside me that said, I hope it's me. I hope I'm one of the people that let go. I wasn't laid off, I was kept. But that sound, that reaction, it scared me. When you're working a job and your deepest hope is to be fired from it, it means you have already stopped seeing a future there. So I decided to leave. Because right now, I still have the drive and the courage to search for meaning. In my work, in my life, I still have the energy to start over. But if I stayed too long in a job that didn't challenge me, that didn't grow me, then by the time then eventually did let me go, my skills, my sharpness, my ambition would have already fallen far behind the times. And at that point, starting over would be so much harder. I'd have lost the sensitivity to know where to begin. Actually, I did have another option. Before I made the decision, TikTok reached out to me. They offered me a project management role working on large language model training. But then I asked about the hours. 11 in the morning to 9 at night, 5 days a week, sometimes later for cross-time zone meetings. I did the math, for I finished at 9, got home by 10, my daughter goes to bed at 8. That means 5 days a week, I wouldn't see her at all. I turned it down. And the reason goes beyond just my daughter's bedtime. I don't want to give up watching her grow. I don't want to give up my family. The simple act of sitting down to dinner every evening with the people I love. That matters to me just as much as any career. But equally important, I don't want to give up the space I need for myself, my own time to breathe, to think, to grow. I have so many things I care about. Yoga, rope climbing, Pilates, classical Chinese dance, woodworking, oil painting, Gucci, piano, pour over coffee. I've spent years cultivating every single one of these. They're not just hobbies, they're part of who I am. Work is one part of my life, an important part, but it's not my entire life. I can't live without my career, but my career is not all of me. I need time to work, and I need time to truly think about who I am. There's something I haven't figured out yet, and I want to be upfront about it. Since I left, whenever someone asks me what I do, and I say stay-at-home mom, I can feel something shift in their eyes in the conversation. There's this little pause, this polite, careful smile, you know the one. I think in a lot of cultures, not just one, there is still this quiet assumption that if you're home full-time, maybe you just couldn't cut it out there. Maybe you gave up. And I'd be lying if I said that doesn't get to me sometimes. I think about my daughter. I want her to grow up and feel proud of what her mom chose to do, not confused by it. But here is what I keep coming back to. That need for validation. It can't come from a title. It never really did. It has to come from who I am actually becoming, day by day. I didn't leave my ambition at Amazon. I brought it with me. I'm just pointing it somewhere different now. And that's really why I am here. I think there are people out there, maybe you are one of them, who feel caught in the same place I was, between wanting more and feeling guilty about it, between what everyone expects and what actually feels right. I don't have the answers. I'm not here to tell anyone what to do. That's really not what this is. I just want to make a place where we can be honest with each other, where you don't have to perform or pretend you have got it all figured out, where we can just exist and think and talk about the things that actually matter to us. This is my first time ever recording a video. I know I'm not polished. I still don't know where my eyes should look. I don't have proper equipment. And honestly, my English isn't that good. But I started anyway, because I think what matters is this. I found a direction that feels right to me, and I have taken the first step. Even if it's a teeny, slow step, I believe that if the direction is right, the rest will figure itself out over time. Even without views, even without followers, this is making me more myself. And that's enough. I'm also posting this because I want to hear from you, from people around the world who might share the same confusion, the same thoughts, the same pursuit. Trying hard alone is lonely, but if you knew that somewhere else on this planet, someone with a different language, a different face, a different background, was wrestling with the exact same questions, and that you could somehow connect it with them. I dream of building a place like that one day, a place that connects everyone who's swimming upstream, like a school of fish pushing against the current together. One fish swimming along in the ocean might lose its way, but when the whole school keeps moving forward together, it doesn't feel so hard anymore. I want to hear your voice, so please leave me a comment. Let's use this small corner of the internet to reach each other. I'm Yaya. Thank you for being here.